Bam, we're live. I always wonder how the show starts for you guys. What is it? Is it the thumbnail, and then all of a sudden the thumbnail's gone and the show just starts? You could be like somewhere else in the room and you're just waiting for it to come on or something, and then you hear the audio turn on, or how do you know the show starts? Is it the thumbnail? I think after every show is recorded, I don't know what the time domain is on it, but after a little bit, it gets shoved over to Rumble. We have some automated process where it goes to Rumble. I just wish we could figure out how to make it go live on Rumble. Some of you guys have been putting timestamps in the comments. I really, 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 really appreciate that. When you guys put timestamps in the comments, that saves me so much time. It's so awesome. And I appreciate it. So those of you who've been doing that, when you see parts of the show you like, and then you put timestamps, so then I can just grab them and then just upload them to wherever, YouTube. That's awesome. And it looks like we'll be getting our Instagram going again. We had Brandstetter doing it for a while. Then he moved on to bigger and better things. And so now we're just in a holding pattern, but it looks like it's going to get going again. Josh, what's up, dude? Hey.
Hey, what's going on? Can you hear me perfectly?
Yeah, totally. Oh, that's my life too. You got the rain going. Are you in California?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Me too.
Oh, yeah. I had a feeling. I was like, he said, I kept looking up what PST meant, and I'm like, that's this time zone, right? Like, why are we?
And usually when we try to do podcasts with people in California, they're like, really? 7 a.m.?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I was very, very upset, but I was like, fuck it. I don't know. I've woken up a lot earlier for a lot. Well, shit, I didn't want to be up for, so I wouldn't mind doing this at 7 a.m.
Hey, I really appreciate it. In the future, when we have you on, we'll move it. We'll make it to a time that's conducive to you. What city are you in?
I'm in Glassell Park right now.
Where is that? What is that, northern or southern?
Yeah, Southern Cal, Los Angeles. I'm in it's like 10 minutes outside of Glendale. I just tell people Glendale because nobody knows where Glassell Park is, even if they've been in California for like 20 years.
Okay, so I rarely see a comedian do an Armenian joke, and on your Instagram, I saw an Armenian joke, and I'm like, how does he even know what Armenians are? And then I was like, because he's in. I should have known. I should have known.
That's one of my favorite jokes. Thanks. But yeah, I live in Glendale. Well, technically Glendale. My gym, which is Gold's Gym, it's in at the Glendale Galleria. I'm sorry if the rain is too loud and you can't even hear me.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good, brother. You're good.
Okay, great. Because I do have roommates, and I'm like, I don't want them to fucking talk to me about whatever. But yeah, so I go to Gold's Gym at the Glendale Galleria, and it's just nothing but Armenians there who all train and do Muay Thai. And
wow.
I'm around them all the time. I'm around so many vape shops. So yeah, it's like a lot of people didn't know who Armenians were until they got here.
Yeah, is that big business for the Armenians? Because every time I've flown into LA, my Uber driver's Armenian, and after like 5 minutes, I hear he's got like 20 Uber cars, and that's his business. It's like every Armenian's in the Uber business. Is the vape business big for them too?
It's the vape business. It's luxury car dealerships, which are all fronts for drugs and more than likely guns.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
good.
They're like the mafia over here, but they're a lot of fun. They're a lot of fun.
And that's awfully racist and prejudiced of you to pigeonhole us in vape stores and it's so funny. So I'm obviously 100% Armenian, and my dad came to this country, and guess what he did? He ran a fucking liquor store. A Middle Eastern guy comes to the United States and runs a liquor store. Go figure. It's so funny how people get freaked out by stereotypes. And the store next to my dad's liquor store was a jewelry store, and that was another Armenian guy. And then the guy across the street was a carpet store, and that was an Iranian guy. And it's like, yeah, certain people from certain ethnicities will gravitate to certain businesses. I'm trying to think the last time I went to a cleaner and the owners weren't Asian.
Yeah.
It's just,
I actually got I did alterations for a few jackets, and the woman behind the counter was an Armenian woman. So that is, but So that is that one guy.
Glendale transcends everything. Everyone there is Armenian.
Everyone there. No, literally, it's nothing but wedding dresses. You also notice that too. I'm like, huh. There's normally none of this where I'm from, but it is. I mean, you guys do it better. I will say that. You guys are very family oriented, and you guys seem to value the dollar. I think most European immigrants do that. So, I mean, it's definitely aspirational.
It was a trip for me living in Northern California, and then going to Glendale and going into a Safeway because there's no Armenians up here, and then going down there, and it was like, holy shit, everyone in the Safeway speaks Armenian, like the checkers, the back. It was weird. It was a really trippy phenomenon.
Yeah, Armenian women are very, very beautiful. Truly,
they are. I spent a little bit of time in Armenia, and I was quite surprised. Another thing is I'm surprised. I'm 5'5", and I thought that when I would go to Armenia I would be tall, but no, I'm short. Just like I'm short in the States, I'm short. I was short in Armenia.
I'm 5'4", and I can only buy jackets made by Asians or Italians because the men of these races are very, very short.
You know what's crazy about you being 5'4"? Is you are completely proportional.
You know what? Genuinely,
so if what, like when you see you on video, say that again.
That's like some of the best I've gotten that before, but not like this prominent, and that is just one of my favorite compliments. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
There becomes a point when a dude drops under like 5'6" where there's like weird shit, like his forearms don't match his thighs, match his feet, match his head. And like you can see him from 100 feet away, and you're like, yeah, something's fucked up there. Like he's not Down syndrome.
No, but just like either too big of a torso, too big of a torso, too small of legs, or too big legs and small torso. So I understood that going into it. I'm very, very, very meticulous about my overall appearance.
Yeah,
which is why like I can only get like jackets that are cropped with like very like low hems. Sometimes it'll be a woman's jacket because it only looks good like the jacket goes too low past the waist.
Right.
I like wearing clothes that look like they were made for me specifically. So like it'll be anything from like maybe like a Top Gun Maverick jacket that like Tom Cruise wore because he's like 5'8" or something like that. Or it'll be like very, very slim chinos. Anything that makes the body look like I'm taller than I actually am, or everything just looks very well fit. It's a very
Before I want to talk to you about being 5'4" for a second, but before I do, I want to introduce everyone to how you popped up on my radar. I'm going to play this clip from Instagram, and this
hey everybody, by the way,
it's this is Josh Shakespeare, and this clip popped up on my Instagram, and I was an instant fan. And I
so
think
nice.
I'm
viral, yeah.
I can't wait to get to your origins, how you got to think the way you think, because for me, it was. How old are you?
I'm 24 now.
Yeah, it didn't happen. I'm 50, and it didn't happen to me until I was like 48, and it took a lot of people fucking reprogramming me. But it's amazing how clearly you think. But anyway.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
Here we go. This is the clip I saw that got my attention. Here we go.
So funny. Kyle Rittenhouse is hilarious though, because he went to a BLM protest, a Black Lives Matter protest. There was like hundreds of thousands of black people there, and he specifically only shot and killed like a domestic abuser and a pedophile. That's why it's hilarious. Everybody was like, "Oh, he's a white supremacist." I was like, "Nigga, are you sure this nigga's not the Punisher?" Nigga woke up and chose justice. That's so funny.
So when you come up with that, and also I'm a closet comedian. I'm such a wannabe comedian. Never been on stage. I hide here in my little office and crack jokes to people on the internet. How did you come up with that? Do you remember when that joke hit you?
Oh, that's a good question. Do I remember when that joke hit me? Yeah, it was actually so rarely does this happen, but it was over the span of 2 days. Like most jokes takes comedians like weeks, months, sometimes years, a lot of the times. But for me, because it was a joke where I thought to myself, okay, so we have the fact here, and how can I just kind of flip it on everybody else? Very, very difficult to make facts that make people uncomfortable a lot of the times funny. especially when there's like this level of denial going around the country. There's like this atmospheric, admitting that I'm wrong would somehow reshape my whole identity. So it was, yeah, it was nighttime, and I was planning on going up the next day. So I was
Wow.
writing, and I was like, let me just come up with this idea. Let me just see if I can just take another stab at this, because I've tried to make jokes about this in the past, like maybe right when it happened, like a year ago, because it was a trial that was going on for a very long time. I tried to make dozens and dozens of jokes about it, and they just never worked. But it was on that angle of like a white guy who you guys call a white supremacist that only shot other white people. That'd be like the worst. That's like the worst white supremacist I've ever met in my life. Like I used to have a joke where I'd be like, if I worked for the KKK and Kyle came into the office that day and he was like, yeah, by the way, I went to a BLM protest. I didn't kill any black people, but I'd be like, dude, you're fired.
You're demoted.
You're demoted.
Shot the wrong guys.
Turn in your hood, please.
You didn't even get an Arab or an Armenian. You just got straight white dudes.
And they had like tattoos. They look like one of us. Why are you? Do you know how to do this?
Hey, it is pretty crazy. And then you have to, on top of that, you have to be up to on all the current events, right? You have to read about it. Like I had to go out of my way and read that one of the guys that was shot got out of jail earlier that day or the night before. He had sodomized like 7 kids between the age of 7 and 16. Like I had to like dig to find that, and that he was actually going down the street screaming nigga. Like that's what he was doing. And literally. That dude took and it's like, wait, maybe Kyle Rittenhouse was with the BLM protest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, are you fucking kidding me? How is I don't want to condone violence, but how is anyone upset? I mean, I'm a father of 3 kids. How is anyone upset that guy got killed?
Oh yeah, no, I said this before.
But you have to research that. What if your audience didn't know the answer to that? What if they didn't know that? Then do they not get the joke?
They would see a lot of what in my stand-up, because I cover a lot of topics just like this. A lot of it is explaining. A lot of the setup is explaining, and then making the joke. And then the trick is to be as interesting as possible for that amount of time it takes for you to explain something. Where you go, oh well, he said this, and people think this. Here's the joke. So it is like playing tennis almost with the audience and seeing if they know how to use their racket. It's a lot. But I found out, I knew about the whole Kyle Rittenhouse situation, like sort of the days following the incident and the independent leaks. I'm not sure if you were on Twitter at the time, but when a lot of these riots
I don't do too much Twitter. I'm stuck on Instagram. Neither do I. I left Twitter years ago. But like I followed many accounts at the time. Through like a burner Twitter account where I just use it just to maybe like look for material or whatever. Yeah.
And like the day after it happened, people would post independent links or videos from people that were around Kyle at the time. So I kind of knew the truth as it was coming out by like Andy No and all these other independent.
Yeah, actually, it's funny. I do know. I say I don't do Twitter, but I know his Twitter. I know that dude's Twitter account. I get notifications.
Exactly. So when the riots were happening, he like had like the videos ground level of everything that was going on. Before this CNN or any kind of corrupt news source could get their hands on it. So I kind of immediately knew. Like the day after he shot the guys, I saw the video of Kyle with their like, oh yeah, I'm here to like clean up for the businesses and shit. And I was like, oh, he didn't look like he did anything wrong to me. So yeah.
I think he's gonna get rich, Josh.
I think he already is. Have you seen his girlfriend? I mean,
no.
Amazing.
Is she smoking?
She's very, very attractive. Absolutely gorgeous. Good for him.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's gonna win those lawsuits against those like CNN and stuff, and I think he's gonna get crazy rich.
As he should. Same thing with the Covington kids. So
is which one is the Covington kid? Is that the one at the steps of the Lincoln Memorial?
I believe so. Where he's just smiling. And
the Native American guy and him are in a face-to-face off.
Yeah. And like everybody across the country were like, I know that smile. You
know what's crazy is I fell for that.
Yeah.
Before before I saw all the footage, I thought, you know, in my mind, I had thought that he went over and was taunting the Native American guy. And then when you see the whole footage, you see the Native American guy came over and got in his face. And at that point, I was like, I wouldn't tolerate any adult getting in my son's face like that.
No, absolutely not. And optic wise, I'm going to be completely honest. Because I don't concern myself with any of this too much. Just looking at the photo, I'm like, okay, I could see how it looks like he's laughing in the guy's face and he's taunting, but I'm like, oh, it was the completely different. It was. I completely no shame, no judgment. I get it.
Yeah, it's crazy. How long have you been doing stand up?
I've been doing it for 4 years now.
And how many ups is that?
Meaning, like, what do you mean, like ups?
How many times have you gotten in front of a crowd and peddled jokes, peddled humor?
It's got to be like at least over 1,000 now. There's like a little bit over 1,000.
I can't even believe that the few comics that I've had on here, that's what they do. I had this guy on here, Hans. I don't know if you know him, but I saw him from Kill Tony. He's an Asian dude. He's had a couple things go viral too. And
sounds familiar.
I think he got a gig opening for Joe Rogan, but he told me that he was living in a van doing 2 shows a day for like a year. And I'm like, I can't even get my head wrapped around that.
There are a lot of us who actively choose to live in our cars and their vans too. I know a few comedians like that as well. Yeah. And they do, and they manage. So, you know, as long as they do what they love, and I wouldn't choose to live in a van if I had the choice, but you know. Yeah,
I don't think he wanted to. I don't think he wanted to, especially it was in New York City.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ. I didn't know it was in New York.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck that. No, I had the choice because I'm from Connecticut. I had the choice to either live in New York or LA, and I chose LA because of the weather. And I realize I'm saying that as it's hailing right now, but you get the.
Is it weird being in the hive? LA is really fucked up. Like worse than North. By that I mean you got all the dudes who are just completely terrified of COVID, the masks, the crazy wokeness, the unable to distinguish between gender and sex. All you got all the relatives. You know, we haven't gone to family gatherings down there because we wouldn't wear a mask.
Oh yeah, and I commend you guys for sticking to it. Truly, you guys are very, very strong. I still to this very day. Despite the fact that people still want to forget all of this happened or how they behaved for the past 3 years, despite the Project Veritas video, I commend you, and we would have gotten along very, very well during the pandemic if that's the case. But
is it hard being there?
It used to be hell for the first right during and then after the pandemic. But now it feels as if a lot of people have fully let it go because I went to there's like this business there's this comedy, the Comedy Store, right?
I don't know it. I mean, I know of it just because from Instagram, from seeing all the comedians there.
Right. So on that strip and in the areas where like the big cities and stuff, those areas, I went past a store that I used to walk down to go to the Comedy Store all the time, and they used to have outdoor seating. And I went there again about like a week ago. It's gone. You know when they would have like those translucent setups on the curb so people could just like sit outside, but like if people walked by, COVID wouldn't get them or some shit. That's gone now. So I was like, oh wow, we're fully, completely out of it, but you still see people wearing masks. But yeah, everyone here basically used to be a Nazi for about like 2 years straight, 3 years straight, if anything. And
I can't.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
No, I was going to say, like, despite me reminding them, they seem to not care or want to remember. So, but go ahead.
Are they scared now that they all got the shot and they're seeing what's coming out? Are they scared?
Absolutely. I'd say so. Yes. I was doing a show last night. No. A couple of nights ago, I was on stage and I was like, hey, did you guys see the Project Veritas video? And then like one guy like laughed and said no, because he was like, because he knew what I was talking about, but he was like, no, I didn't see it. And I was like, you did see it. And it was in that moment that I realized, oh, like this video has like over 1 million views just in the span of a couple hours. I know most people have probably seen it, but just are pretending they haven't. So it's
because it's too scary. Awkward. It's too scary, right?
It's way, way too. Yeah, of course. I mean, imagine seeing something so identity shattering imagine seeing that, where you literally see the supervillain.
You found out that the drug you took that you thought was going to save your life is actually a ticking time bomb.
Yeah, you were the experiment. You were
a
the
heart
experiment.
attack. Yeah, you were
Literally.
the experiment.
I love seeing memes like that where they were like I know people that can't afford water right now, but the vaccine comes with a free burger and fries. I was like, I was like, come on, and then you have what's going on with in Ohio right now, and medical professionals telling everyone it's okay. So I'm like, these are the people who said they had your best interest at heart, health wise, 2 years ago. So it just doesn't pan out. But it is horrible out here.
Is it all fodder for your comedy?
Absolutely. It's a blessing in disguise. It's bittersweet because I get a lot of material from it, but then at the same time I get a little too frustrated, and then I start to get a little unfunny. So
yeah. You definitely don't want to do that.
No, it's a hard line to walk because a lot of these things do make you very passionate.
There was this clip going around of a New York City comic, and he was talking about. I wish I had it, but it just reminded me of it. And his whole shtick is just bashing the people who live in New York City about how if it wasn't for the people in the Midwest, if it wasn't for the red states, you wouldn't have milk, you wouldn't have food, you wouldn't have electricity. And he's just it's a fucking. If I find it, I'll send it to you. But I wonder
Absolutely.
if you could make a whole. Can you survive there? Just your shtick, just being bashing liberals. Bill, who is it? Bill Burr. He's kind of gone down that route, right?
Yeah,
is that the
he
guy I'm thinking?
has. Yeah, you are. Yeah, you're thinking of him. And
and Bill Maher's kind of flipped the script, right? And Bill Maher's kind of flipped the script.
Yeah, he has. He really has. I was never a Bill Maher avid supporter or anything like that because it was just that wasn't really my thing. That type of late night. But I have seen a few of his clips recently, and he seems like he knows what he's talking about. Bill does do that. It's always great to see Bill go up because he has a way of, for some reason, making it work because not everybody could pull it off, even myself included. So yeah, that's not all my material either. It's just bashing liberals. These are just you just catch the most controversial opinions that I make jokes about that exist sort of in like this little bubble of time. Because, I wanted to drop a lot of these jokes before people officially stop caring or don't remember who I'm talking about anymore. So, yeah. But no. That I wouldn't say that's my entire shtick would be shitting on liberals. It's more so just like being like, well, this is your argument and let's unpack it.
Fair. That and that sounds better to keep a clear mind. Were you ever a liberal? Did you make a journey? Did you make a journey that you would think is a blue to red pill journey?
No. I've always just been centrist as far as like, or rather moderate as far as just heavily capitalizing on common sense, because a lot of people now are seeing things coming out about certain conservatives or certain Republicans as far as inconsistencies in their logic or what they claim they fight for, and then you see this on both sides. So I'm just like, yeah,
I agree.
If they have too much money or a lot of money like that, they usually don't have your best interest, despite what they may say. But some may be better than others. But I'm like, I'd rather just be like, all right, that's just not right. But let's just make fun of it at the end of the day.
Were you born in LA?
No, I was born in Florida, but raised in Connecticut.
Yeah, just from a young age, you went to Connecticut.
Yeah, like I was like probably like 3 or something when I moved over to Connecticut. Like I didn't even remember. I had no idea what was going on.
And that's where you were raised until you came out to LA.
Yeah, until 19. Like at the age of 19, that's when my mother and I drove across the states from Connecticut all the way to California, and then I moved out here. So yeah.
And why did you drive across with her?
So it was too much to like move all my stuff via like flight. So she booked the flight like a few days in advance, and then we drove across the states just so she could basically make that flight back to Connecticut. Because we also got the car in Connecticut and then drove it here. We couldn't it was too much to have it moved from Connecticut over there.
And was that your first time leaving home?
Absolutely, yes.
So at 19, your mom helped you move to Los Angeles and were you going to school here in Los Angeles, or were you
No,
what was the
no.
goal?
The goal was just to find a job here, and do just acting and comedy because I did it when I was 18. I used to travel back and forth from Connecticut to New York to do background acting. And then at that time, I was in a couple of major shows that were going on in New York, like Law and Order or Tell Me a Story on like TBS, like the streaming platform, or CBS, excuse me. And yeah, so I was like, you know what, let me just fully move to, because there is no comedy scene or acting scene in Connecticut. So I was like, I want to kill myself if I'm here any longer. So I just decided to move over here to the Golden State.
And what is is there a goal? Is the goal to be an actor, a film actor, TV, stage, and the comedies just to keep you sharp, or is it just what is the goal? How do you see what you're doing? How do you see
And
yourself?
the goal is to just be really, 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 really good at comedy, really, really funny, make comedy and make content that people can really connect with. It used to not be like that. It used to just be like, oh, I want to have this hot take and go viral. But now there's like a much more holistic approach to it. So there's that. And then, yeah, I also do want to be really, really good at acting. I want to be successful at acting, like do commercials and TV shows and stuff like that. It used to be, I want to be like this. I used to really, really want to be this like almost Denzel type of actor where I'm like winning Oscars and stuff. But I was like, nah, I actually have more of a passion for comedy specifically. So I'd say the acting is just to keep that side sharp, and there's also like the financial aspect of it. But yeah, comedy seems to be the first love, and then I also make my own videos. So yeah, I can see director and writer in the future, like for scripts and stuff, because I've always done that even when I was younger. So
Yeah, there's a lot of effort, and thought and details into the videos on your YouTube. I always trip on that. I'm like, oh man, he spent 6 hours setting this up for a 45-second video.
and yeah, it was how a lot of the content is going back. It's not that good, but I did put my best foot forward. I did cut corners a lot when I was younger in the game. But now that I'm older now and seeing what it takes, I'm like, oh, should I need a new computer? I need this type of equipment just to make the process a little bit faster because I'm using a very old computer at the moment. So, but I did, yeah, I did a lot of the content before. It was good. A lot of it was bad, but some of it was great, and I did have a lot of fun making it. So
250 days a year you're on stage for the last 4 years.
you could say so, yeah. Yeah, I'd say that.
And do you ever do two-a-days?
Yeah, the past dare I say month, yeah, it's been 2 to 3, going up 2 to 3 times every other day.
Oh shit. And do you hate that or do you like that?
A little bit of both. I think, yeah. I mean, even like the best actor, the best comedian, eventually you're gonna start to hate it, and then like it, and then love it, and then it's everything has like its own ebb and flow. I think chefs hate making food sometimes.
Hey, Josh, as these 4 years go on, do you see yourself taking more and more risks? So I've been doing this podcast every day for, let's say, 2 years. I don't know if that's true, but let's just say every morning, 7 a.m. I do this podcast. And
Awesome.
And I go through little growth spurts in like things that I'm willing to take the risk to do. So I've been in the last like 5 or 6 months, I'll do voices. Like if someone does something to annoy me, like if I'm reading something Joe Biden said or something, I'm like, oh, and Joe's really scared of and the first time I did that, I'm like, holy shit, what am I doing? Or like I'll sing a few
Great.
bars, even though I can't sing, and I'll catch myself taking risks that I would have never taken. How do you develop? When you see yourself getting better or developing, are you kind of shocked to see stuff that comes out of your mouth? You're like, oh, and you get a little bit of panic even?
No, not panic. There have been times in the past where it was mild shock at like, well, where did that come from? But the more, um, let's see.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like if you have to constantly be developing and pushing further, right? Let's say you're a high wire artist, and you start walking on a rope that's like 8 inches wide, but by the end, every year you got to make it narrow and narrow and take more and more risks, and then eventually you have to learn how to juggle, and then you got to get out there on a unicycle, and then you got to get out there holding a bitch with one hand, and it's like holy shit. I mean, I'm assuming it's got to be like that with comedy. You have to,
Yeah.
Because I feel like that with the podcast, I have to every day do something that makes me a little uncomfortable and push the margins of my failure. Push out to the margins.
Absolutely. That's exactly. Yeah. I'd say what it is just you're just getting more comfortable with it, which as a comedian, it takes, and it's interesting because it takes different elements for different people. I was Andrew Schultz. I'm not sure if you're familiar with who that is.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. He has my favorite quote about stand-up comedy. He was like, stand-up comedy is like being a basketball player, but every time you get on the court, the hoop is a different height. So you get more comfortable, but it's very case by case. Not everybody gets comfortable or pushes their own boundaries the way you and I do at the same exact pace. So, but you are getting more confident, which a lot of artists do in their craft, the more they do it. So yeah, I'd say that's the way it is for everybody, but it's just our measure of evolution is just different because I'm 24 and I'm not sure how you said 50. Yeah, exactly. I thought you were like younger 40. So yeah.
Thank you. You should see when I shave. I look like I'm 17. You should see me naked. I look like I'm 12.
Nice.
So then your mom brings you out here, and did you already have an apartment and some money saved? Like, how do you do that? Did you have relatives? Oh, you froze.
Repeat. Okay, you're back. Repeat that.
So you come out here with your mom. She drops you off, and do you have money saved for an apartment or something, or do you stay with relatives, or how do you get your feet on the ground?
Yeah. So I moved. So I got here. Before we officially drove out here, we flew out here for a week to set up appointments to look for apartments. And the one we ended up going with was a basically hostel with like 50 people all living in one house and in bunk beds and all in the same room. And there was like multiple rooms in this house, and there was like one girl's room that was co-ed, and then there was like everywhere else was boys. And there was like 2 other bunk beds in my room, and the rent was only $600 a month. And yeah, it was in like a shady part of downtown Los Angeles, but it wasn't that dangerous. Nothing bad ever really happened to me, thank God. But there was like roaches there, and there was like a few mice in the stove, and everything was just dirty, and everyone there didn't clean up after themselves. So that was like our first spot. And my mother like hated it, but I was like, this is how I know I'm actually doing this. So, and everybody has to start out somewhere. And I did have some money saved up at the time. So yeah. And then I had a job too, because Central Casting was also in New York at the time. And then I just switched over to California. So
what's that mean, Central Casting?
That's just the agency that I went through at the time, like to do background acting. Like that's how I did Law and Order in New York. And yeah.
And it's funny, people in the comments are like, holy shit, 600 for a hostel, because in some places in the country 600 is your mortgage and you own the house.
Yeah.
And you were living with mice and 49 other dudes in a house.
Yep. Yeah,
that's crazy. And then how quickly before you got your feet on the ground and started getting gigs, like started finding your home? What did you call the place? The Comedy Store?
Yeah, but that's not my home. Like I don't that's not like I don't regularly go up at the Comedy Store at all, but like that's like a place I frequently go to. Like I frequently go to different comedy clubs, but like I'm not even at the level that people think I'm at as we speak. I'm still like slightly known, but like not like off to the side.
Right.
But I thought people started to know me around like year 2 when I still kept doing it during the pandemic. So yeah.
And where do you do? And so where do you do it? Is it just anywhere? It's just looking for places where there's stand up before local bands, coffee shops. Like you're just constantly hustling to find spots to get up.
Absolutely, yeah. Yes, that's exactly what it is, and it never stops. And then there's like dry periods for a lot of people, especially even as an actor, you'll see this where you'll like get booked for like a while, 1 month, and that goes by nothing, and then it's just ebb and flow.
Is it exhilarating or depressing, or neither? Both.
All the time.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I chose those. It's exhilarating because you're getting you're putting yourself out there, and it's depressing because you're constantly putting yourself out there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's stressful, very, very stressful, but worth it.
Of course, dude. And the truth is, from afar, I think it's what every person would want to do. From afar, it's like holy shit. Like every 24-year-old, you're living the dream.
Oh, thanks. Thank you. I appreciate that.
And you don't have any responsibility. You don't have kids or a dog or a cat. It's just you.
No, thank God.
Yeah,
I do want a dog though.
Don't do it. Don't do it. There'll be plenty of time. Get a girlfriend with a dog. Get a girlfriend with a dog.
I'll try to do that.
Don't do it. So then you're in this hostel, and how long do you stay in this hostel?
Till during the pandemic. Because as you know, like a lot of people started to move back home. A lot of people moved from LA back to their house. Sadly, they came back, but a lot of people moved to their hometown, and the manager of the hostel at the time was like, all right, we can't, because too many people are moving out, we can't keep it going, so we're going to shut the house down. And then I just moved in with one of the guys I knew there that I got along with well at the time. So
the two of you found another spot.
Yeah.
Was he freaked out about COVID?
No, we were very like-minded. We were like, we don't give a fuck.
Yeah. And you're healthy. You take care of yourself. You don't eat like shit.
Oh, yeah.
You're not obese.
No, I go to the gym pretty much every other day. So
dogs are the best. No, see, the problem with dogs is they might be the best, but he doesn't need anything holding him back. He wants to take off in a rocket ship. Does he CrossFit? You fuck around with CrossFit?
Yeah, actually, I love calisthenics. I do boxing, so yeah.
Oh, sweet. On your own, like shadow boxing, or just you? Yeah. Or you got a trainer?
On my own. I used to have a trainer, and now I do it independently. But I stay sharp, and I follow a bunch of boxing accounts, and I try to do like a little light sparring with anyone at the gym that I'm comfortable with doing it with. So
yeah, that's cool as shit. And what about the CrossFit? You just do that on your own, like set up in a little corner of the Globo gym, or you actually go to a CrossFit gym?
No, I actually do it. I do it by myself, like in my own little section of Gold's Gym. Like, because they don't even have like a sled push, so I have to like makeshift my own sled push. Like, you know those black boxes where people like jump on them? I'd have to put weights on them and then just drag it and push it back and forth.
Yeah. And people give you shit for doing that in the gym?
No. They're like, oh, that's like a really smart idea. I'm like, yeah, we don't have like a lot of asphalt. We don't have fake grass. We don't have like a large fake grass field. It's for a lot of women in booty shorts to just kind of like pretend stretch. So I have to kind of make do with what I have at that time. So
I like pretend stretching people.
Yeah, they're always very funny to me. It's like that's not a real pose.
And you were doing F45 for a while too. I saw on your Instagram.
F45, what is that?
Oh, it's kind of like CrossFit. It's a knockoff. It's Marky Mark's. It's Mark Wahlberg's knockoff. Way back in your Instagram account, I saw you at an F45 gym. You don't recall? This is old.
This is, I think you're talking about, it's not Planet Fitness, Speakeasy Fitness.
I don't know. I just saw you like you look like you just done some sweating, and maybe I could find it. Hey, do you archive your account? Do you cull your account, or is that everything you've ever posted? Because you don't really have a lot of posts.
No. Some of it is archived, but yeah, I don't have a lot of posts. What you're seeing is me being very, very well versed on how to use hashtags and sort of marketing. So yeah, I don't have a lot of posts. Normally, you'd see someone with like this, the amount of followers I keep getting with like over 1,000 posts, which I do actually want to reach at a certain point. But yeah, I don't. Some of it is archived, but genuinely, that is just about as much as I've posted. Here and there, I'll archive some posts, like even reposts. So. But yeah, no, that's mainly everything I posted so far. So then there's that, and there's KD MMA, which is which is a gym like sort of up the street. It's an MMA gym, but that's where I learned boxing. So that could be what you're talking about.
Okay, maybe it is. I'm scrolling through here. Hey, the girl that you did the podcast After Sex with, is that an Armenian girl?
No, that was she's a Jewish woman, actress slash model. Yeah, Sarah.
So when you wanted, oh wait, did I find it? Did I find that for you? When you want to do a bit like that, are you like, how does that work? You're like, hey, come over to my house. I got this idea. You're going to be getting out of bed and getting dressed. And I'm going to talk about the sex we had.
Yeah, I had to get.
She's
I
like,
had to
are you
get-
fucting crazy, Josh? Fuck you. I'm not doing that. How about you get in bed and I'll talk about you. Hey, that could be pretty funny to do to have her version too, by the way.
Yeah, I was, oh my God, everybody and their mother was like, oh, you should keep doing this. Here's another idea. I was like, yeah, but then it's like, you got to keep it consistent. And that is in of itself a niche. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to have this thing sort of exist just for what it is, even though people were like, yeah, you should make like an episode 2 or 3 or 4. And I'm like, no, you trust me. You don't want that. In theory, you'd think you'd want it. It'd be like Coming to America. Like you think you want it, you don't. Just leave it alone.
Right.
But yeah, that was a lot of fun. I got her through another female comedian that I was friends with at the time. I was like, do you know any actresses that are willing to do this? Because I don't want to cold call anyone and be like, hey, this is what the idea is. Be like, well, it'd be much better if I was doing it through a woman. And Sarah is already low-key a nude model, so she was totally fine and she was down with whatever. So that was a lot of fun. That was a fun day.
Yeah, she was great.
Yeah, she was a lot of fun.
She played her role great. I had this friend, Travis Bagent, tell me one time that there's 2 kinds of vacations. There's vacations that are too long, and then there are vacations that are too short. And you always want a vacation that's, because there's never the perfect vacation, and you want the vacation that's too short, so that way you'll want to go back again. He says if it's too long, it ruins the whole fucking vacation.
I agree with that.
Josh, who is your barber? My husband needs lined up. Love your videos. Your husband needs.
I get my hair cut at an Armenian barbershop by a gay black woman in Burbank, and she does an amazing job.
But Armenians are racist and homophobic. How could there be a black and sexist?
You'd be surprised.
How could there be a black gay?
Not all of them. That says surprisingly, I was surprised at the number. I mean, it's like that with everybody, but they're actually very good people if you're very respectful. I don't like it because I can just sense it when I go to certain areas that a lot of them think that I'm a part of BLM, and I'm like, guys, I'm not with them. It's just me. It's okay.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
they used to just hate the BLM thing was so fucked up.
Like, now they just think I'm one of the. That's actually worse. I'd rather you just hate me because you think I'm black. That's just. But now it's just way worse. I like it. I like this gays against groomers, and I like this. I like the melanated people speaking up against BLM, and I like obese people speaking up against COVID. For that reason, it's like, hey, COVID's not killing anyone. It's because I have a fucking sugar addiction. It's crazy that we've come to that, but we kind of need these people from their superficial genres or niches to speak up and be like, yo, what the fuck? Don't put me in that fucking pigeonhole. Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, you're absolutely right. I mean, we are the most necessary, I'd say.
Are you having fun? Would you say you're a happy person?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why I'm very present.
I like that. And your cohort in your field of comedians, are they happy people?
No,
not
at all. I wouldn't say so. But they're learning to be. A lot of people seem to be.
Tell me, why is that? That's like the stereotype. Like inside, the comedian is frowning and suicidal.
A lot of it, superficially, a lot of people think it has to be that way. There's this narrative that runs in a lot of artists where they're like, you have to be always depressed, or you have to always be anxious, or you have to always, in order to know that you're good at this or know that you're going to make it, which is the dumbest fucking shit I've heard in my entire life.
You have to be doing drugs. You have to be neurotic, all that shit that goes with being creative.
Yes. That story that everyone keeps telling themselves, which is not true at all. There are absolutely comedians who are very well adjusted, happy people that are hilarious. There's that. A lot of people, a lot of humans just are masochists by nature, I'd say. A lot of people want to be miserable. And that's number two. And then number three, I think people just haven't found the right guidance. I was lucky enough to find just like the perfect therapist, to the point where I'm like, I wouldn't even call you a therapist. And now I'm just happier. But you have
a therapist?
Well, I used to. We just sort of separated maybe like 2 weeks ago, because she moved to a private practice, and we agreed that was the universe telling me I don't need therapy anymore. So we separated, and she subscribes to Eastern philosophy, which is meditation and presence, and very like Buddhist. So I recommend everyone get a therapist that does that, because not every therapist is. A lot of them are crackpots. So I lucked out. So that's why I think all these 3 to 4 elements are why people are so depressed, and why people think in comedy as an artist you have to. Well, what that really is just self-comparison. You're always going to self-compare. I'm sure you compare yourself to other podcasts all the time.
Yeah, I always tell myself how much better I am. I stopped listening to Howard Stern when he became a pussy a couple years ago. And then recently I just drove back from Arizona to California, and the car I had Sirius XM, and I listened to him. And I was so happy how shitty he was. I know that's really not a nice thing to say. And I know that's a serious problem with people in sort of the entertainment business but man, he has really shit the bed. He has really taken a downturn. He wasn't funny. He was he was crasser than I remember. I like crass humor, but he was crasser than I remember. And he's just scared. He's so scared and closed-minded.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, you're seeing that a lot. You're seeing the fall of a lot of people, and it is very, very sad. But you're seeing the fall of a lot of different businesses. We went to Abercrombie and Fitch when I visited Connecticut like a couple of weeks ago. I was like, this is a completely different store. It's not the same anymore. It used to be dark and classist. I miss that.
Hey, did you ever work there?
At Abercrombie and Fitch?
Yeah.
I applied once, didn't get the job.
They there's this guy who's a regular on the show who used to work there, and he told me there's a documentary I need to see about it. Do you know about that?
Oh yeah, I've heard about the documentary, which is pretty much just going to reaffirm everything that I already believe. And they were like, oh, we were like, oh god, like everything you feel about Howard Stern is how I feel about Abercrombie and Fitch just as a brand. Because if you go to their Instagram right now, they're like, how do you want to celebrate Black History Month? And it's like this obese Black woman like kind of promoting the products, and it's like they would have never made this for you like years ago. They're so scared, and they just want to. But overall, I like businesses that do the exclusion thing, because it's like if it's for everybody, then there's no. That's why we have fake Gucci bags. It's not supposed to be for everybody.
I used to work there. That company has DEI now, and their product is trash.
What does DEI mean?
Diversity, equity, and inclusivity.
Oh boy, yeah, they're absolutely correct. Yes,
they're the ones who say, like, if you work somewhere, they'll say, hey, please don't say shoot me an email anymore. We're in sensitive times, and we don't want the word shoot used. or don't say if you walk up to someone who's of color, don't say to them, do you like my new black shoes? Try to use a different word besides black.
Yeah, please don't just talk. A lot of people are actually sensitive to volume, and if you could just maybe keep it down a little bit, we will now be using sign language.
You don't ever tell a person of color that they're articulate, because that's offensive.
That's very, very offensive. Please don't ever use the word urban or anything like that, or inner city. Please stop.
What has happened? Do you know? If you try to, like when you squeeze one end of one of those animal balloons, how it bubbles up on one end, all fucked up, right? Like you squeeze it, and you get like a weird, like it gets thin, and it looks like it's gonna pop on one end.
Exactly.
Sex is like that too. If you fuck with someone's like the course of their like sexual expression, you could fuck someone up, right? Let's say like showing that's what so many kids are fucked up. A 7-year-old kid gets his dad's phone and he sees some porn, and it's basically, and he sees a blowjob at 7, and now you've squeezed one end of the balloon, and now you've stained his brain. Something's going to be in there. It's going to cause some sort of weird pathology now. Race is like that. This whole thing that we've gone through in the last 2 years, it's done that. Like they tried to fix race relations. Well, I don't even know if but they just completely fucked it up. Like
Yeah, there's like this
completely
overcorrection.
Yeah, like no one ever knew if they had a black or a white checker, or Asian checker at the supermarket. But now, if you have
No.
a black checker, you know,
Yeah.
you're like, oh shit,
It's yeah.
you
It,
you're tripping out. Like, am I going to say something fucked up? Do they think I'm a white supremacist? I mean, I don't, but I know people do. But I
yeah,
always
this
did.
level of fear that it's just. I mean, you'll see that with like the majority of with like a lot of white comedians. I went to New York recently, and it's the same thing, and it's very sad to
Like
watch what's
there's
happened to that.
like they're scared.
Like so many white comedians go on stage, and their whole act is, I get that I look like I'm a white supremacist, but I'm not. That's the whole act. I'm
Oh,
not racist.
but
I
it's
get
just a
that I
regular
look like.
looking white dude.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like, I know you guys are thinking, where was I on January? No, we're not, bro.
Yeah, right,
We're not. You have a vape.
right,
We don't know.
right,
We know you weren't there, but
right.
you this idea that everyone is going to automatically think that you're racist is. I mean, no, actually, scratch that. That is actually real. That the majority of liberals you encounter are going to think that you're racist, and then you have to overcorrect in your head. But like me, I'm like, I just wouldn't give a fuck. I would just say how I felt about whatever it is. So
Do you vape?
no, I used to, but I quit.
Yeah, it's horrible for you, dude. I vape for a little bit. It's fucking horrible.
Absolutely, and it really it only hits you when you do like combat sports or very rigorous training. I don't think people who like rigorously go to the gym and put their body through a lot of stress. Well, scratch that. No, every Armenian I know smokes, even if they do Muay Thai. So scratch that. But you get the
What do they
idea.
smoke? Are the Armenians vaping or are they smoking cigarettes or what?
They're vaping and smoking cigarettes. So that's how you can tell who's older and who's younger. So older men, the older they smoke cigarettes, so like skinny cigarettes, and then the younger smokes they vape. It's like Beverly Hills versus Bel Air. Very old fashioned killing yourself, new fashioned killing yourself. We're doing e-cigarettes this time.
I used to do this thing when I would smoke. I smoke cloves, those Dejarms.
Never heard of
No
them.
shit. They smoke cloves, Brandon. Is that true? Because I used to smoke cloves. They're
What the
they're
hell's a
brown
clove?
cigarettes. They're from Indonesia. There's 12 in a pack. It's kind of like a dark red pack. It's thin. It's small. But anyway, and I would smoke. I'd take a hit, and they crackle.
Oh wow.
And then I'd bring my mouth forward like this. Like I had a
Mhm.
fucked up one of those fucked up Asian like underbite things, and I'd let the smoke out, and I would then breathe it back in my nose. I think it's called a French inhale.
Yeah, French and how that's exactly what that's called. Yeah, that's nice. I'd never heard of these cigarettes before. I used to smoke green tea cigarettes and black tea cigarettes. So it's just like no nicotine, no tobacco. It's literally just black tea and or green tea. And it was supposed to get you to quit smoking. I never smoked. I just needed, it was just the oral fixation. So
Did it work?
yeah, I recommend everyone get them. You can get them in Montebello. They're made in Montebello. So if you live in California and you order them, they'll be in your house in under a day. Yeah. Yeah, and they're by Billy 55. That's like the
Yeah.
brand.
This is fucking
Yeah.
crazy.
That's exactly what it looks like. I have that in my house right now. Like I still have like a carton. You can get an entire carton for only $20, and they go very quickly. And yeah, that's exactly what I used to smoke. And you can just get them, and they come in a carton. Like I think like a pack of.
How come I've
like
never
in the
heard of
carton, it's
these?
like, well, it's healthy. It's good for you. Like, and it's actually effective to quit smoking. So you wouldn't
Well,
really. They don't really.
It's not good for you though, right? I mean, it's still inhaling smoke, right?
Yeah, but it gets you to stop because it's not so every smoker I've given that those green tea and black tea cigarettes to said this tastes disgusting, and I was like, yeah, if you don't like it, then that means it's working to help you quit smoking. Like I used to do nicotine gum just for the creative and productivity boost, and after like a couple of days, I was like, this is disgusting, and I spit the gum out. So yeah,
Yeah,
so it's very
nicotine.
effective.
It's the nicotine. Nicotine is. I mean, quitting. I smoked and I quit that, and then I vaped a little bit, very little. It was so hard to quit. And then I chewed a little bit, and that
Yeah,
chewing is Satan. Chewing was like the most enjoyable thing I ever fucking did. I just am addicted to nicotine. I just love fucking nicotine. I don't know what it is. I mean, I do know
did
what it
it.
is. I just wish I didn't. I wish I had never fucked with it.
Yeah, I totally get it, but intentionally I did it to just be more productive. I was working like a job at the time that was like very demanding, and I was like, okay, I need to be sharper. So I did the nicotine gum, and then like I realized you're not supposed to chew it. Really, you're supposed to just like chew it a couple of times and then keep it under the gums of your teeth,
Yeah.
so that it could soak into the. So and then that for some reason that was very easy to quit. So I just kind of stopped. It just for some reason I was like, I'm just gonna spit it out. I no longer have the need to smoke anymore or vape. Because I never smoked cigarettes, but like to vape, to consume more nicotine. So like it was actually very easy to cut it out for me. But
I had like physical twitching and shit, Josh. I was like twitching
damn,
and shit. Yeah.
God
I was
damn.
like laying in bed and I was moody as fuck for 3 days.
Did you
Actually,
do a sauna?
No, what's a sauna?
Did you go to a sauna? Like,
Oh no, I should have, huh? Like sweat. You're saying
Yeah.
like sweat help sweat out the
that's probably why it
nicotine?
was a little bit easier for me, because like every time I work out, there was a time where almost every time after my workout, I would go to the sauna or the steam room, and that's like a great way to just bleed out a lot of toxins from the system. It's a great way
Are you
to recover from a
Scientologist?
hangover. No.
No. Oh. Are you religious at all?
In a manner of speaking, like I believe in the universe, and I guess I believe in like I guess the Christian God, but I'm not like I've never been to church or anything.
Gotcha. You ever read the Bible or listen to it
Oh
on
no,
tape or audio? No.
I've tried. No, I couldn't get past like the first couple of pages. I'm like I don't know what the hell you guys are talking about, man.
Back in the day, like I said, I'm 50. I bought the all the tapes. It was like a book full of cassette tapes.
Oh, like the
You know
audio
what- you
book
know what
before the audio book.
Yeah, and it was just when it was the audio book, but all in cassettes, and it was like when cassettes were going out. So like that thing probably would have been like $1,200 when it came out, but like I got it somewhere like for like $8. I remember.
No,
and,
nice.
and I listened to the whole thing. I listened to it twice. It's pretty good. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
There's some sections in there that just drag on and on, but most of it was I was glad I did it.
It's crazy how you can just
You ever
go
had-
on YouTube and listen to it for free now.
Yeah, right. Good. Thank you. Getting educated by a 24-year-old. Those are the things I need to hear. Bible for free on YouTube. Hey, you ever had anyone walk up to you and ask you to take Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior? And then
A couple
you
of
ever had
times. Yeah.
that? And what do you say? Do you do it?
No.
No.
I actually get left out and feel kind of jealous when the guys don't ask me if I'm Jewish. There are like a lot of Jewish people that also solicit the people, and they ask, they're like, "Hey, are you Jewish?" And they like primarily ask like white guys. I'm like, I could be Jewish.
Right. I did it. Some guy came up to me in England and asked me if I would take Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, and I said yeah, and I did it. And then I remember, like, I don't know, 10 years later, I was in my sister's a Christian. She's
nice.
been, I think she's born again. She's pretty hardcore, 20 years, and I'm not. And but I still accepted. You know, if the guy wants to like introduce me to something that'll save my life, I just did it. And then like 10 years later, I was with my sister somewhere. I think we were up in the Berkeley Hills by what are those things with the horses that go in a circle? Carousel. We were by a carousel. What are the
Right.
those things have a name? What are those things?
Carousel.
Carousel?
Yeah.
Okay. And the guy comes up to me and says, "Hey, will you take Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior?" And I said, "Of course." And then he said, "Repeat after me." And I did the whole fucking shtick again. And my sister's like, "Hey, I thought you already did that." I'm like, "What? Is there some rule like you can't do it? Like maybe it didn't work the first time, you know? Is there some rule you can't?"
Like if you get baptized twice, it reverses it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, is there something you can't do it twice?
Yeah. Like, can you have too much of the body of Christ? Is that like one of those? It's so funny to ask around and fuck around with the rules, and like, sir, you're being very offensive right now. I'm like, are you sure? I just have questions.
Yes, I just have questions. What will you do? What will you do today, Josh? What will a typical day be for you? So after this podcast, what will you do?
After this podcast, I'm gonna go back to sleep.
Okay,
and
good
then
on
I'll
you.
wake up, write some jokes, erase a lot of jokes, go do an open mic, consume just enough caffeine to get me through the day, and hang out with some more comedians, come home, probably if I can try to do yoga, and I'm gonna meditate and then go to sleep, and then the same exact thing is gonna happen the next day, and then
Dude,
more and
I
more,
fucking
and then
love
probably
it.
a job. Yeah,
And what will the job be? Oh, another
some
stand-up
sort
job.
of freelance. No, just some sort of freelance because I do need to pay the bills. So like I do work, but like it's some sort of freelance. So it'd be like background acting or like some production gig.
No shit, you do that too. You do production work too.
As an artist, like you need to freelance jobs are your friends. So like dog walking. I made so much money and I had like just about every delivery job under the sun during the pandemic. So like Uber Eats, Roadie, Shipped, Shopper, Instacart, Amazon Flex, every independent where like they're
You ever
like,
bone
okay,
anyone you deliver? You ever bone anyone you delivered something to?
I wish, but no. I did meet one of the actresses from The Runaways, the show, that Marvel show. That was fun.
You
So I did
recognize
deliver
her
to
and you're
her.
like, hey, you recognize
Even
her?
when she was wearing a mask, yes, I recognized her. And I was like, oh, you know what's cool? I was on that show. I was in the background. I was in the season finale. And she was like, oh, that's cool. And I was like, oh, dope. Yeah.
God, I always think that if you're a delivery driver, especially someone who looks as good as you, that someone would invite you in, like someone
I
lonely, and
appreciate
just be
that.
like,
Thank you so much.
no,
No,
but it
no. I'm
didn't happen.
surprised I haven't been. I'm surprised actually I haven't been propositioned to be a sugar baby yet. But you know,
Are there dudes out there who are that's what a
one of
sugar
the
baby is?
one of the first friends I made in Los Angeles was a sugar baby. Yeah, it's just someone like older women who just need companionship. I don't think sometimes you don't even have to fuck them. They'll just send you money. And I was like, that'd be a nice job. I look like I'm 10, so.
And you just basically hang out with them at their house and go shopping with them, and you just chill with them.
That's exactly, yeah. And they just pay your rent for you. And I was like, that sounds like a sweet gig. Sign me up. But for some reason, I haven't been able to pull that off.
When did you realize you were short? How old were you? Do you remember, like, did someone explain it to you, or did you come to it? Like, for me, I didn't realize I was short till I went to college. And then I would
didn't
like,
realize
and
I was
dudes would be
short
like, you can't get
until
that girl. You're too short. And I was like, holy fuck, I am short. How did I never realize that?
middle school.
Middle school.
But
Like that's
luckily,
6th, 7th, 8th
like,
grade.
yeah, around that time, which is like around the time you get interested in the girl. So you but
Yeah.
but I never really cared. Surprisingly, I actually enjoy being this height.
It was just through someone making fun of you? Is that how you figured it out?
Yeah, that's usually how it is. Or just, you being excluded from something. There's always a level of exclusion as to how you figure out there's something wrong with you.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I also remember there was this backstop that all the boys would run and jump up and grab their hands, like the 10 boys I hung out with every day at lunch, and then they would pull
Yeah,
themselves up and sit on top. But I couldn't do
Yeah,
it because
like
I was like
like
short
Lost Boys.
and a little fat. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I would hang out with those dudes, but I would always be the one at the bottom. Like, so we'd all be eating lunch, but I'd be the only dude down at the bottom. It's like I was the
Yeah.
dude that rode the bike and everyone else rode the skateboard too. It was kind of fucked up.
Yeah, it's like that for a lot of us. So yeah, for me, it was like that. There were short guys that were like managing to pull it off, but for me, I was like, oh, okay, I'm also short. But like it was never like really. I don't recall it being a hindrance when I was younger.
I never see anyone. If I see someone shorter than me, I know it. Like I'm in
Yeah.
line at the
Oh,
coffee
yeah.
shop and someone shorter than me walks in, I'm like, holy fuck. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Or if I talk to someone who's shorter than me and I'm looking down a little bit, it almost makes me feel uncomfortable because I'm used to talking
Yeah.
like this,
Yeah. For
looking
me,
at
it's
people's
just,
nostrils.
yeah. It's great when you see other short guys being able to pull it off, where they like carry themselves like a tall person, which is fun.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. You see a lot of that here in Los Angeles, which I'm very happy for. A lot of the short. Rarely do the short men here carry themselves like they're short.
Right.
Like they
Sevon's
almost don't
watching.
even know it.
Sevon's watching too much Pornhub. I don't even watch Pornhub. What are you talking about? Tall people do the same. Yeah, I bet you it's weird like that too, right? You're fucking 6'11" and a dude walks in who's a whole head taller than you. You must be like, what the fuck?
Yeah. That's got to be like so weird to be around.
Yeah, it's a trip.
I've
Yeah,
been
Nick, all
tall
my black
before.
friend. Say that again.
Because I've been like, you ever like get on? Well, I'm sorry. Let me read the comment. Go, you read the comment because I want to see.
Yeah, Nick. All my black friends stopped growing at around 5'5", and I kept growing. It's awesome. Jeremy, you're 6'5". That's this dude. This dude's a black dude too, by the way.
Nice.
Holy shit! I had no idea you were so big.
I like your name, Jeremy. I love that band too.
Is that? I don't even get. I always see that. What is his name about? What is that? Jeremy Eat World. That's a band.
You know that song. It just takes some time, little girl. You're in the middle, off the middle by Jimmy Eat World. It's by Jimmy
No.
Eat World. Play that. You
Is
should
it-
play that song. It's a really good song. Yeah, it's like one of those uplifting songs in the midst of bullying in the early 2000s, which ironically was when Abercrombie and Fitch was at its peak.
Let me see if I can find it here.
But yeah, that's I think I could be wrong, but that is what Jeremy's name is in reference to. But what I was saying earlier was that like I've
This
been
one?
at the height. Yes.
You know they're all the same.
That's exactly
Oh
the
yeah,
song
I
it
do
is.
know this song. Okay, all right.
Such a good
Okay,
song.
sorry. Go
man.
ahead.
No, but yeah, so like I've been on like elevated platforms and I'm like, oh, so this is what it feels like to be 6 feet tall, but it just feels uncomfortable because I'm like just having longer legs and longer arms just makes me feel uncomfortable.
You mean for shows? So you'll get an acting job and they'll be like, "Hey, we need Josh to be taller. Make him 5 inches taller," and they'll do something to you.
Something like that,
Is that
where
what
like
you're
if you like when you do like stand-in work where they just have you stand in for somebody else. So like sometimes they'll put you on a platform so that you can be taller. And I'm like, oh, so this is what it feels like to be 6 feet tall. It doesn't
Gotcha.
feel comfortable.
Yeah. Yes. Josh is my new favorite comedian. Well, there you go.
Oh,
That was
thanks.
easy.
I appreciate that. Thank you guys. Now, thank you.
Jeremy, there's no way you're 6'5". Heidi coming in, putting the slap down on Jeremy. Jeremy.
Is that a reference to Heidi Klum?
No, I think that really is her name. God,
Oh.
there's so many. You know, there's a guy in here, Josh. His name is Barry McCockner, and for 6 months I would read his name and I didn't know. I was like one of those fucking idiots. And then finally, someone on the show explained it to me. You know, that's Barry McCockner. And I was
That's
like, I
fucking
had
hilarious,
no
dude.
fucking idea. And then everyone in the comments told me what a jackass I was.
That's fucking hilarious, dude. That's
Which I'm
funny
sure
as fuck.
similar to you. I'll take any attention I can get, whether it's good or bad.
That's funny as fuck.
Barry McCockner. So you earlier you were saying that sometimes you'll erase a lot of jokes. What does that mean? Erase jokes.
Like if the joke isn't working, like as you try it up at like multiple different likes, and if it just doesn't hit, then you kind of have to like put it in you have to throw it away after a little bit. So I'm gonna have to do that with like an entire act I've been trying to work on for a while that just hasn't worked out. So yeah, that's what that means.
Is that painful?
Absolutely. It's like a piece of you is dying.
Yeah, and especially it sounds like it's not just one joke. It's something you've been working on and polishing, and then it dies.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. It's two things in particular, but yes, yeah.
It reminds me of. Do you remember being a kid when you would they had that brown paper you would write on with the blue lines on it, and then you would erase, and the paper would tear, and you were like, you remember
Yes,
that? Like,
yeah.
and
I
you'd
remember
be
the
like,
erasers that would make
"Fuck."
the blemishes bad. It would make it worse. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, fuck, this is not going how I want it. This is
Fuck
fucking a
it.
disaster.
Yeah. I actually never thought about it like that. But yes, I would say it's exactly like that.
Are you getting better after 4 years of
Abs-
daily?
Absolutely. Every day, I'm like, every single day. Well, Anthony Jeselnik had that quote. He was like, yeah, just write a lot, go up a lot, and then you'll get better. And it is a bittersweet pain. But yes, it is. Growing pains.
Have you ever hit rock bottom in your life, Josh? Have you ever had hardships that had you hit rock bottom?
No, but I felt suicidal a couple of times when I was here. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, while you were here, while you were in LA. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
pretty.
I mean,
That's
well, even
pretty
before I
low.
was in
That's
LA.
good.
Even before I was in LA, but yeah.
In regards to what? What was motivating that? Just like
So
what's the point of life?
Before LA, it was being in Connecticut made me want to kill myself. And that's not even a joke. And then when I got to LA, it was just the loneliness, and then it was the unhappy it was just being unhappy with where I was and where I thought I should be, and what I thought I should be doing, and what I thought life should have felt like at that time. So then that's when the depression seeped in, and I mean, and then obviously you had the pandemic, but everyone was depressed then. So, but yeah, I'd say that was like a pretty low point for me. It was like the first 2 years when I was here.
And when those thoughts first start creeping in, are you shocked to see them, to witness them?
No, I usually just
No.
make a joke out of it. Like I cope with
It-
like just making a bunch of suicide jokes that like make everybody laugh. So
Right. All the shit in my life that happened when I was younger, I now see flowers growing out of it.
yeah,
Right. So just as the time I had to shit in my van because I couldn't hold it is now like one of the funniest stories I have. Right.
that's fucking hilarious, man.
So
I'm so sorry to
it's
hear
interesting. Or getting jumped and beat up. When it happens, it sucks, and you hate
Oh,
those
yeah.
people for years. But 20 years later, it's a funny bit.
Yeah, it's very funny. Great things come from great pain, sadly, but that is how it is.
You know the song by Bob Marley, you're running and you're running and you're running away, but you can't run away from yourself. Do you know that song?
No, but I am a Bob
Anyway.
Marley fan.
It's interesting. I was kind of picturing what if I was your mom and you were in Connecticut and you were depressed and you went to LA, I would get nervous because I would
Oh
want
yeah,
you to
yeah.
be,
It was
I'd want you to be close to me just in case you needed someone to run to.
That's exactly what it was a very emotional day when we like our last day together because we lived with each other our whole lives and then not anymore. But yeah, now it's just we talk every day. So
Yeah, that's
just
good.
about. Yeah.
You have a good close relationship with your mom.
Yes.
Yeah, me too. It's the
That's
fucking
good.
best.
That's good.
Yeah, I hope I can have the same relationship with my kids.
Oh hell yeah.
Sevan, you should start every show with the poo and the van story. I don't know about every show. And is that why you ended up going to therapy because you were suicidal?
Not suicidal to the point where it's like it was debilitating and it's all I thought about. There would just be days where I would have huge dips in depression and I would just think about I would have like I would play with the thought. And there was never like any serious attempts. But
Like you never put
but yeah, that's
a
when I
hose
was
in your muffler and brought it into your window and sat there and tried to start your car. Okay.
No. It'd be like a couple of times on the freeway where like I'll close my eyes for 10 seconds or some shit like that. Like like the pussy version of suicide. And then yeah, I went to therapy and then my therapist was a dumb feminist, which she was not helpful at all. She only really did. I mean, I'll give credit where credit is due. She did help me out a lot. She did open my eyes, and she did reveal to me that I did have OCD. So that there was that, but that subsided over the years, thankfully. But yeah, and then I had another therapist, and then she got deported to China.
Oh.
And yeah, it turns out she was responsible for COVID. And then after that, I found another therapist, and then now here I am. So,
what's OCD? How does someone point out to you that you have OCD? I wonder if I have OCD.
You probably don't if you have to question it, but I would just explain to her my day to day, and she'd be like, "Oh, you have OCD." I'm like, "Oh, okay, great. I didn't know that." I would just be like obsessive. It would just be obsessive thoughts regarding just social interactions. So
Oh yeah, I don't have that over social, but I obsessive things like some things around my house. So like last night before I went to bed, I checked. We have 3 doors that go out. Well, we have 3 doors that we use that go in and out of the house.
yeah.
And so before I go to bed, I check all the doors, and then I climb into bed, and then I get up out of bed and I check all the doors again, thinking that maybe I didn't look at them right.
Yeah, I think
And
we
then
all
maybe
have
I
that.
do it. Yeah, is that OCD?
To
And
a
it's like
degree, I
every
think-
night. It's fucking weird. I even tell myself, look at the fucking door. It's locked. Don't come back. I'm like, all right, I see it. Be cool. Chill. Easy. Go easy on me.
I wouldn't say, I think that's just like a level of like healthy, anxiety. I wouldn't say it's
Okay, good.
OCD. I'd say if there was like a number or a thought attached, probably OCD. Like I'm going to die if I don't check the the doors every like blank hours. If there was like a number and
Oh
and,
shit.
and
Oh
yeah,
shit.
yeah. Oh, is there a
Oh
number
yeah,
attached?
Jeffrey says that's just called being old and senile. All right, good. Yeah, I don't. I feel like I'm around people who obsess on personal interactions. Like, did I handle that right? Does that person like me? What was that person really
Exactly.
saying to me? And that shit seems exhausting. I would fucking lose my shit. That you're talking about
Very
more shit like that.
exhausting. Yeah, very, very exhausting. But I'd say with enough practice can easily be managed and overcome.
So you kind of do fit into that category of a comedian. There's something.
No,
There's some.
not anymore.
Oh, darn it.
Now I don't really give a fuck anymore as far as like social interactions. I'm like, oh, I don't care anymore.
Oh, and the suicidal shit's gone.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, darn it. So much for that. So much for pigeonholing you as a typical.
I found a good
comedian.
healer. I found a good. Yeah.
Was that it? Were you joking when you said that lady was responsible for COVID? The Chinese
I was
lady who got
joking.
deported.
I was joking.
Oh, okay, good.
I was
Okay,
joking.
good.
She did
All
get
right,
deported to China though. I'm not. That wasn't a joke. She did like we were making some progress in therapy, and then she like hit me with it one day. She was like, "Yeah, unfortunately, my visa is expired, so like I can no longer be your therapist. I can no longer do therapy." But from what I heard, she's back now. So
Does she have a Chinese accent?
yes.
Jake Chapman, relentless questioning, severe anxiety, obsessive behavior related to anything and everything, and at the cost of reality and relationships.
Correct. Yeah. Like you just can't stop, you know.
And I guess nicotine does help fix that though, right? Because that nicotine always brings me like this. It brings the whole world into a fine
As far as
point
it
for
makes
me.
you sharper and it makes you more focused. But like there was a time where I mean, caffeine doesn't make you. It doesn't help at all. Caffeine actually increases anxiety.
Yeah, for sure. There was a lot of athletes do caffeine, and I had this athlete on here the other day. It was the only athlete I've ever had on here who doesn't do caffeine, and that's exactly why. He says it fucking gives him anxiety. That was Jorge Fernandez out of San Diego.
Good for him. Nice.
Or Jorge Fernando. I get my Mexican names. Jorge Fernando or Jorge Hernandez. Someone will tell me.
That's dope. Good for him then. But yeah, I totally.
And that's hard. That's hard quitting caffeine if you're. Do you do caffeine, especially when you go on stage?
Absolutely, yeah. But like but sporadically, not like there. I used to be addicted to caffeine, where like to the point where like I knew exactly how many milligrams of caffeine were in certain drinks and certain cups of coffee and shit.
Jorge Fernandez. Thank you, Stephen. Hey, so you and earlier in the show, you did say when I said, "What are you going to do later on today?" You said you were going to take a mild. I'm paraphrasing, but a mild dose of caffeine. You'll drink just what you need.
Because I
like
use
that.
it very strategically because like for example, I only got 5 hours of sleep last night because I was up late like editing a video. And then I woke up. Here I am now. And then after this, I'm going to go to sleep. But like when I wake up, I need to like sort of be up to boot because I have to there's like a lot of, let's say, pre-game that I have to do before I actually go out on stage because I'm already scheduled to go up later tonight. So, and then like I have like 60 other things to do. So that's just to keep me alert and aware because like it's a lot of what I consume is to make up for the morning and lunch hour. Does that make sense? So like
Yeah.
I haven't eaten like a proper breakfast in almost a year now. So like I'll just wake up at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon and then I'll eat a meal big enough for breakfast and lunch and then I'll be good for the rest of the day. And then like maybe one more meal at night. And then
Why do you wake up so late? Why do you wake up so late?
Comedy is a job where our shift starts at 7:30, 8 o'clock, sometimes 7:30 if we want to get there early, and then it goes to like sometimes 2 a.m. That's like the shift of every comedian, I'd say stand-up comedian or performing artist, yeah.
And then you have to unwind until 4.
Exactly, yes. And then go to sleep, and then you wake up at 1 o'clock, which is why you need a freelance job, which is why like a 9 to 5 usually isn't going to work because you have no idea when you're going to be. If Dave Chappelle pops in at the Comedy Store, you're going to be there until like 4 a.m.
Why is that?
Because he goes for hours.
Oh. Trish, we have nicotine receptors on our brain. We are meant to use nicotine. You have a mouth. That doesn't mean I'm supposed to stick my dick in it. What we have nicotine? Quiet, Trish. Meant to. You have lungs. You're meant to breathe.
That kind of reminded me of like I don't know, like there's a video where they're like your brain on this, and they like literally explain it to you with like a dry erase board and shit.
Yeah.
And they did one where it was like, this is your brain on nicotine. So I think she might be right about that, where there's like receptors in our brain that because
if
they say
Trish can be right,
makes you more. Okay.
No, go ahead. No, sorry. I keep interrupting. Sorry, go ahead. Tell me.
No, don't worry about it. No, they were like because I looked it up. Because like caffeine makes you faster and nicotine makes you sharper. But go ahead.
I'm looking up nicotine receptors. What receptors are active? Nicotine binds to the nicotine cholinergic receptors, facilitating neurotransmitter release and thereby mediating the complex action. I don't know. What happens in? I don't know if we have nicotine here. I'm going to pull up a picture here. I'm not doing this by myself.
Nicotine receptors in our brain.
I mean, is it a receptor that's just for
nicotine?
Oh, you're asking Siri. Nice, good job. Okay, here we go. I don't know if you have a place in your brain that's just waiting for a hit off a fucking Marlboro Light. That's the part. Like, I'm just not seeing it. I just can't believe it.
It's just waiting.
Yeah, I mean, you have a stomach that's waiting for food.
It's just like a little guy in all our heads just pacing back and forth like it really needs a cigarette. That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Trish is always right. All right, fine. Trish is always right. There's quite the little there's a 100% we do. You're telling me, Trish, that there's something in your brain that is just waiting there, and if you never took a hit off of nicotine, it would never get used?
That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm struggling to believe that.
We have nicotine receptors in our brain. That's amazing. Just like
maybe it's a receptor.
Is it just a camel in sunglasses? Is that what the nicotine receptor looks like in our head?
Yes.
It's just a camel.
He's just standing there with a lighter, waiting for the cigarette to come.
He's literally doing that. That's great.
Do you mess with weed at all?
Yes.
Yeah, I can't mess with that too. That shit makes my brain too noisy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to be the guy that's like, oh, it depends on what you use, but everyone's different.
Yeah.
For me, I just use specifically indica. I just use specifically the indica version of it, which is just mainly it focuses on the body. Because I don't need it, but it's the best unwinding tool because I don't drink. It's the best unwinding tool because my body is always sore. Because I'm always walking or I'm always working out to some degree.
Yeah. Good on you. You work out every day, 7 days a week?
I want to say 5.
But you would say you like it. For me, that's my therapist, working out. So before you came on the show, I went to your YouTube channel before the show yesterday, and I sit on the assault bike and I just watch shitloads of Josh Shakespeare, the shorts, interviews you've done, listen to the.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. Oh no, it's fucking stoked to have you on.
Thank you.
What do you think isn't technology a trip that some just random 50-year-old dude could reach out to me like, hey, you want to come on my podcast?
Yeah, it is weird, but I mean, hey, it's very welcoming, truly. It is a dream come true, actually.
Well, that's awesome. That's really awesome. Well, it was nice getting to know you, and you're always welcome back on. I admire anyone.
Have me on again.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Let's stay in touch. You have my number. If there's anything I can ever help you promote, I just admire so much what you're doing. I admire all the honesty talk.
Thank you so much
that you do. Especially since you're in the hive. I always trip on people who are in the hive who might get blackballed or alienated. Because you can't say blackballed. That's
sorry about that. Yeah. It's a very offensive, triggering word for me. Please don't ever use that word, just because I don't have balls. I don't identify as someone who has that. So, but thank you genuinely.
And we'll close on this. A nicotine ACH receptor have been implicated in a variety of brain functions, including neurodevelopment, learning, memory formation, reward. I don't know why it has to be called a nicotine receptor. Oh, nicotinic?
It's called nicotonic. Yeah.
Nicotonic?
Oh, wait, Nicotinic.
Jackie Miley, he is great. Oh my God. Yeah, he is great, right?
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Jackie.
And he's single.
Nicotinic.
He's single. He's single.
Yeah,
You
I
are
don't
single,
know.
right?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. Nicotinic that's interesting. It's just nicotine. So we have nicotine receptors in our brain. That's fucking hilarious. I had no idea. There's just like this. There's people in our brains that just like wearing a leather jacket, just sitting by
Yes.
a water fountain. We want to be cool. That's just hilarious.
Have a fabulous day. I appreciate you getting up early. I promise you the next time we do this, we will do it at a later time.
Thank you.
Maybe I could even do it like at 2:30 in the morning after a show.
No, don't. No, you don't want to do that.
No?
Trust me.
No, okay.
No,
okay.
no. Just in the middle of the day, like at 5 o'clock, that'd be nice. Like 6, maybe a 3 p.m. That'd be
Okay.
great.
So
But
we would
other
be
than
like
that,
the
I sort of like that.
we'd be a pre stand up, like a warm up.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah. That'd be great. Or just on a day where I'm not even gonna go up. So that, but other than that, yeah. And
Sevan told him to get a girlfriend with a dog. Yeah.
Yeah,
nice.
that would actually be nice. I didn't even think about that. I should do that, shouldn't I? But thank you so much for even having me.
It's a double whammy. Anytime, brother. All right, Josh. Great meeting you. Please stay in touch, and our paths shall cross again.
Thank you. Thanks everybody for watching. Thank you so much for the compliments. Thanks for having me on. I'll see you guys later.
Not compliments, just observations. Just observations.
Thank you.
Josh Shakespeare. Sevan, look into nootropics. I need your thoughts. What is that, like mushrooms? I was with someone yesterday and I was like, hey, I can't do drugs ever. I don't want to do anything that like makes it so like I can't drive my kid to the emergency room. You know what I mean? I could never be so free right now where I think I would be comfortable like taking mushrooms or ecstasy or LSD or something. You know, I have MDMA here somewhere too. Believe it or not. I know you guys have seen the giant bag of weed. Someone gave me this. Look, I've never even opened this. You guys want to see this? This is kind of crazy. Someone gave me this. One of the employees at CrossFit Inc. gave me this. I can't believe I've never opened this. I shit you not. And I did something for him. And he said, hey, I gave you 2 hits of Molly. This is like fucking, I don't know how long ago it was. I think he watches the show, the guy. I feel something in here. Oh, Nelly. This is crazy. There they are. I can't even tell. They look like Flintstones. They look like Flintstones. It's a blue pill. It's a really weird shape. I can't tell if it has something written on it. Can you guys see that? There's 2 of them. Bam. No, I don't think it's Viagra. Anyway, there's the do it. Are you fucking crazy? Fed's about to show up at your house, bro. Fine, show up. I don't even know what it is. I just know that he said, hey, I really appreciate what you did for me, and I gave you 2 hits of ecstasy. So that's that. Put it back in the drawer. And I'll stay in there forever. What else is it? You want to see what else is in this drawer? This knife. I don't even know I had a knife like this. What do you think? My vision's gone to shit. Opinel. It's an Opinel some sort of knife. You want to see what else is in here? Look at this. A DVD CD player for a fucking Apple computer. Which most of you never even seen one of those. Huh? There's a couple of other things in there that probably I shouldn't show anyone. Imagine what I can't show you if I can show you the ecstasy. Fed's about to show up at the dough. Sevi looks awkward holding Sevi looks so awkward holding bad things. You mean just the way I was like? Maybe I should change the thumbnail to this show to just like ecstasy. Sevi has the blue meth. Is that what it's called? The blue meth? Oh, from what was that movie? Breaking Bad, the blue meth. Show us, we won't tell. I don't own any dildos. There's no dildos in my house. No dildos or vibrators or any type of sex. I mean, not that I know of. So no sexual paraphernalia. There's condoms. I should have asked Seth Gruber what he thinks about condoms. It seems so short if I get off right now, right? What a short show that would be. We've been doing some 3-hour shows. No Caleb today. Did you guys notice? No Caleb, no Souza. We could call Souza. You want to call him? Let's call him and see. I'll try punching in his number. He's in my favorites. Oh, I wonder if I'm taking the kids skateboarding today. Hold on. I should put my wife's phone number in here. Can you guys hear me dialing? Let me see. Because it's raining, which is bizarre. Yeah, just me. I could call Boz. Should we call Boz? Oh, the open thing is today at 12, right? Let's hear your 23. I don't have any.
Hello, you've reached Kaylee.
Okay. Oh, maybe she won't answer because I'm calling on that phone. She didn't recognize that number. I wonder who this is. That was weird. Sorry for that noise.
Hello, you've reached Kaylee. Leave a message.
Oh.
Thanks.
Hey. Hi. Hey.
Did you just call?
Oh yeah, was that you calling me back on the phone here?
I did. I was just curious to see what would happen.
Oh yeah, I did. It came in with something that I didn't feel comfortable answering. I'll tell you after the air. That was interesting. Remind me to tell you what I saw on the phone. Hey, am I taking the kids skateboarding or is that canceled?
It's canceled.
Okay. All right. I love you. I'm gonna hang out with the team for a little bit.
Okay. I just have to leave like at 10:30 for a class.
Okay. Oh, are you getting something waxed or
Class? No. Pilates.
getting your nails done?
Yeah. My hair, my nails,
You're a good dude.
tanning bed,
All right.
all that. Okay.
Okay. Love you. Bye.
Bye. I love you.
Okay. Now let's call Souza. He probably isn't going to recognize this number either. I don't think the cops can just come to my house because I made up some story about how I have ecstasy in a drawer. Can they? It's just a prop, right? I'm calling Matt Souza, executive producer of the Sevan Podcast. He might not answer. I've been kind of harsh to Matt the last 2 days. Maybe that's why him and Caleb didn't show up.
You reach
today.
Matt, leave a message, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.
Oh, okay. I see the text. Skateboarding's been canceled. Right. You guys see me try to run the show by myself for a second? Live call-in show. Okay. Oh, this is fun. This is fun. For those of you who are watching on screens, you're going to want to see this. This is very interesting. Oh, but I'm not going to be able to do the stuff that Caleb does. Caleb knows how to make the screen big. I don't know how to do that. Wait till you see this. How do I make this big? I hit. Oh, there we go. Look at this thing. Someone sent me this. This thing is bizarre. What do you think of that? What do you think of that? You think that's real or you think that's CGI? Isn't that a trip? It's like some sort of. It's called Good Night. What a bizarre machine. It's like a windmill, and each blade is like, or no, it's like a steam engine, but each blade is a tongue, and it's licking what looks to be an apricot or a peach that's been opened up. And I like it how the apricot and the peach is like on wires that bounces up and down. Oh, that's got to be CGI. Did you see how it's dripping? That can't be real, right? Okay, that must be CGI. Because that thing wouldn't drip like that over and over. Okay, that's fake. Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad I was able to figure that out with you guys. Looks like a torture device, not real. Reminds me of Amsterdam. Yikes. Yeah, Trish didn't like that. Okay. Oh, you think it's very sexual? Never even crossed my mind. Tomorrow morning, we have, I forget that this show even has guests. Oh, good. Tomorrow we don't have a guest again. Tomorrow morning, no guest. Oh, we're on this evening at 5 p.m. With Andrew Hiller. We're going to watch Andrew Hiller do the workout, and Taylor and JR will be here. I think JR will be here. JR's kind of hard to pin down. He's got like shit going on, like a business and kids and shit. And then tomorrow morning, we have a live call-in show. I got to have Hiller on. He's made so many videos. I want to talk to him. We got to just catch up with him, right? Just hang out with Hiller for a little bit. Saturday, Josh Bridges is coming on. And then Sunday, live call-in show. And then Monday, we have Ronnie Teasdale coming on, Raw of Earth. That machine is the biggest tease. Yeah, what a trippy machine, right? I once hooked Ron up to a sump pump and sucked the soul out of his body. Ron who, Jeremy? Wow, listen to this. Ron rigged one of those up to my old sewing machine, Oscar Mayer wieners, and a few dowel rods. My goodness. You miss Hiller. Yes, call Hiller. I don't know. Hiller has to be on here with his face. Oh, shit, James O'Keefe. That's what I wanted to ask him about. All right. I am really enjoying the Trish IG so far. There's a Trish IG? Trish has an IG? Is that true? Heidi says, Sevan, each week you should have a 30-minute segment with a regular Joe from the chat. It'll ruin it. If you meet any of these people in real life, it'll ruin it for you. Just like if any of you ever met me in real life, it would ruin it for you. Trust me. Hi, Jeremy. What's up, dude?
That's not what Philip said. Philip said you were pretty cool to me in real life.
Yeah, he's fucking lying. I'm telling you, it's gonna be a letdown.
He seems like that kind of a guy.
That just loves everyone. And that being said, I did like meeting him. So maybe that was just a fluke.
Maybe. Yeah, he's a good dude.
But anytime anyone calls in, everyone's like, I fucking hate that guy. Hang up on him. Shut up. And it's like, geez.
That's why I called in. You were talking about Heidi, and I was like, let's see how long I could talk before Heidi tells me to shut the fuck up.
Hey, what did you think about that guest we just had on? What did you think about Josh Shakespeare?
That's actually why I was calling in. That is a stud of a human being. I mean, you've had some killer guests. That guy was amazing.
Well, why did you like him so much? He seems so. I didn't realize how. It's always interesting to me when I talk to really young people like that.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah,
like
what
he
was he,
seemed almost a
24?
little guarded. He seemed a little guarded.
At first, yeah, but I thought, with your style and how you typically go with people like that, you got him to open up a lot. I mean, hell, he was talking about suicide. I mean, does it get deeper than that?
Yeah, that's it. That's a great point. And I will say this, by the last 30 minutes, I was like, oh, this guy feels like a friend now.
Yeah, totally. I really like them for all of that, and because, as a black dude, that's why I jokingly put a comment in there when I first tuned in about, a black guy that doesn't talk like he's black or whatever.
Right. Oh, I missed it. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's all good. But that's how it was growing up for me. Black guy that I just, you know what my name means now, Jimmy Eat World. They're definitely not a hip hop group.
Right.
Let's just say that.
Right.
So like, I'm into, not that I don't like hip hop, but I'm into all sorts of things. Basically, the color of my skin, as you always talk about, and I believe since I was a kid, it doesn't matter. It definitely makes me receive the sun a hell of a lot better in the summer than a white person, that's for sure. But besides that, it doesn't matter. And the vibe that I got, that I think all of us got from Josh, was just that it doesn't matter what your, as Hiller says, it doesn't matter what your skin color is and stuff like that. And I just really liked his style and his view on that. I thought that was fantastic. So really hit home with me.
Yeah, I would like to have him on again. I'd be curious just to see just how our relationship progresses. I feel like I feel like I used to have people on like him all the time. By like him, I mean people that I didn't know, and it was going to be kind of an awkward interview. And I just feel like I hadn't done that in a while. And then that we were back to that kind of with him. It just reminded me of a lot of guests from like year one.
Yeah. And I was going to ask, that's a great point. I was going to ask, like, how did you come across him? Like,
just on Instagram. I just saw that bit he did on Rittenhouse, and I was like, fuck, this should be good. I'd be curious to have this on. And I'm kind of like to blindly like invite people on the show, always kind of hoping I'll get someone who isn't red pilled. I would like to we had a guy on here. We stumbled upon him who was crazy blue pill guy. Do you remember the guy? He was the guy that did the snapping. He's like crazy woke.
What's his name?
He did that thing. Does anyone know that guy's name? It was
Was it recently?
No, it was like a year ago. He does the songs and he hits the table. He'll be like, I'm so happy that I believe in feminism. So go fuck yourself if you like Trump. Remember that guy?
No, I don't. I'm going to have to look back.
Yeah,
I want to know what you're talking about.
Anyway, no, not Tyler Fisher. Although Tyler Fisher was interesting too, right? That's a guy who, that was another interesting guest too. The comedians are hard, man. They're fucking weird.
Yeah, that's another great point. There's been some comedians that were like what do they have any depth in their life at all? And this guy was like, this was good.
Okay, good. That makes me happy. You guys don't know who I'm talking about? You guys don't? Oh, Josiah. Wow. Elise Carr Ridow.
What up, Elise?
Yeah, she says it was Josiah. Yeah, that's the guy. It was some guy named Josiah. Yep.
That rings a bell.
You can't expect a comedian. I don't expect them just to turn it on. But if I get called to be on a podcast, I'm going to carry it. Unless the host wants to carry it, then I'll back down. Josiah Fraser, maybe that's who it was. Yeah, that guy was so fucking blue pill and trapped in his head, but it was still fun having him on. I like the challenge. Yeah, if I went on a podcast, you can't expect me to just turn on. But yeah, I don't know. I just think that if you show up to someone's house, if someone has me on a podcast, if when Peter asked me to go on the podcast, I'm like ready to just like, I want to give him something. I want to make sure that when people watch that podcast with me, they're like, holy shit, I didn't know that about Sevan, or I can't believe he said that. You know what I mean? I'm going to slip in at least one skull fucking joke.
That's why your podcast, the first one with Tosh, you add value and you make things better than you left them. I think that's why I was sending all the clips of that one, because that whole 3 hours of you guys talking was about adding value. I think as human beings,
where did you send
largely
clips?
we've lost that.
Wait. Like, go back. Where did you send clips?
I think I sent them to your Instagram and then the podcast Instagram about adding, the values he was talking about, and then the overarching theme of leaving things better than you found them. I think we've lost that largely in society. People they don't want to add any value. They just want to bitch and complain. And
are you really 6'5"?
Hell no. In my head, yeah, but 5'10" in real life.
By the way, if anyone, you know what we need to upload? We need to upload when David Lucas was on here, that clip that we made of him. But if anyone has timestamps from shows that I did that you think should be clips, just please put them in the comments. So some people send me shit on Instagram. There's no fucking way. Like, if you send me a link to a 7-minute video on Instagram, there's no fucking way I can watch that.
Oh yeah.
I'm going through like fucking 1,000 DMs, and you want me to stop and spend 7 minutes on your shit? There's no fucking way. Or you send me something that I need to keep forever, like a time code. Please don't do that. Don't send me more. Unless it's a 7-minute clip of you telling me how great I am, do not send it.
Is Heidi yelling at me yet to get off the phone?
No, she wants to know what time the announcement is.
What time is the announcement?
Eric Weiss says, "Okay, Jeremy, stop the slurp session." I didn't feel like him. He wasn't blowing me. What are you talking about?
Pipe down there, Mr. Weiss. He's in the dad's group with us.
Oh,
so
how was that? How was Yosemite?
Holy crap, man! Coming from a place like Wisconsin's pretty flat here, a few hills here and there. To go somewhere like that, we flew San Francisco to Groveland, which was beautiful too, and then drove up to Yosemite, and that was incredible. I've never seen anything like that besides on pictures, and it was a great time. A lot of stuff in the works. So
did you guys climb Half Dome?
We climbed something. It was really foggy. So I mean, you got to see enough, but I don't remember which one we climbed. We climbed something, led us to a waterfall. I cried a little bit, and then we climbed back down.
Oh, that's nice. You did cry a little bit?
Yeah, some tears were shed. That's for sure.
Just because it was just a long hike and just emotions were stirred?
That, and not to get too personal, Heidi's going to tell me to shut up now for sure, but I'm going through a divorce and got 3 little kids, and
oh shit,
there's a lot of shit developing in my life, and it was just kind of one of those moments. I was standing there, and I was like, oh wow, this is pretty cool. This is pretty crazy. Things are going to be okay, so on and so forth.
Wow. Can you tell us why you're going through a divorce? Or better not to talk about it on here?
No, that's fine. I'm reading. I read this book, Mindset, Carol Dweck, really good book, and it talks about growth mindset versus fixed mindset. So to sum everything up, basically, I am of the growth mindset, and ex-wife was not of the growth mindset, and we clashed. And yeah, that was it.
Oh, that fucking sucks. This probably doesn't help to say this, but I always think, like, if that's the one thing I really want to avoid, that seems like a divorce seems like so much hard work.
Oh, it's shitty, man. It's especially, and I don't discredit anyone who was single or didn't have kids. But when you had kids, and my kids are 5, 8, and 10, it's like they don't deserve this. Like let's work this shit out. It can be worked out. There's no abuse. There's no anything like that. It's just little things that can be worked on that I tried and she didn't want to, and that's the hardest part is the kids.
Oh,
I don't wish it on anybody.
She doesn't want to try.
No, she didn't want to try. She wants to party. She wants to do her thing. And I'm like, yeah, not that I don't like to party from time to time, but like, I'm not trying to be wasted all the time and stuff like that. And that was her thing. And it didn't work for me.
I had this girlfriend that it was like that too. She wanted a certain lifestyle, and I remember the things, some of the things she wanted to do, and one of the things was to go out one day a week to a bar and drink a glass of wine.
Oh yeah.
And she wanted like that kind of like commitment from me. And I'm like,
yeah, that's too much.
and I'm
that's,
like, I can't. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't. I mean, if it happens, it happens. If we go to the bar 7 nights a week, but I can't. Like, there's months will go by where I need to just have my head down and be working.
Exactly.
I can't give you that.
And it's like 2-3 days a week with 3 kids and work and all this shit. And, you know, I coach CrossFit, manage a gym and everything. And I'm like, I'm not, you know, I can't do that. I can't give you that. And, that was like a deal breaker for her. I'm like, that's pretty wild, man. Like,
that
I
is
would
wild.
think a woman who's married to a guy with 3 kids would be like understanding of that, but I don't know.
Do you want to hear something crazy? I never take my wife out, and I mean never.
Do you do that on purpose, or
No.
is it just you guys are
No,
always
it's just
doing shit?
like for me and my wife, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Like, if we go grocery shopping together, it's like fucking date. That's like our date night.
Hey, if that works.
I fucking love it.
Yeah, I mean, if she ain't mad about it, if she's not like, well, you know, like,
No,
then
she
if
doesn't.
she's okay with it.
She
Then cool.
can't. There's shit that has to be done. Our life's just not there.
I agree.
We
totally
worked out
agree.
for the first time. She asked me the other day. She said, "Hey, I wrote this workout up. You want to do it?" And I said, "Yeah." And she looked at me like she had seen a fucking ghost. I'm like, "Yeah." And it was probably the first. I mean, and we went from doing every single workout together for fucking 5 years. We went from taking if one of us was showering, the other one was showering. We went from taking every shower together for 5 years. We went from, I mean, just completely to like, yeah, you're fucking right. We have 3 fucking kids.
Yes, exactly.
Like, dude,
not like that stuff is gone forever, but
right.
you
It's
know,
and I don't feel like
there's
it's
work
gone
to be done.
forever. Yeah.
No, it's not. But there's work that needs to be done, and yeah, that's awesome that she's cool with that, though.
And I wouldn't be able to enjoy myself spending money at a bar, knowing I could use that to buy batteries for my kids' toys. I just wouldn't.
Yeah, totally.
I just couldn't. I don't know. Sevan, take your wife out once in a while.
I knew. So is that Jody?
No, it's Trish. But the good guess, Jody. I actually, this morning I was going to lean over and get a piece, but of course, fucking someone was in the bed with us.
Always.
It's like, are you fucking kidding me?
Oh, it's funny. It'll get better. My kids are, well, 2 of them are a little older. It'll get better. But
yeah, I don't mind. It's all fun and games.
Hell yeah. I love it.
Okay, well, brother, I'm sorry that you're going through that, but you sound like you have your head on your shoulders, and I'm glad you got to come to California. And Yosemite is a great place to blow off some steam. I hiked Half Dome one time. It was like 11 miles up, 11 miles down, and I remember it was extremely emotional for me. And I didn't expect that when I went on the hike. It was just like something I wanted to check off a list, and it was very emotional for me.
Oh yeah, totally.
All right.
I appreciate you.
Yep. Thank you. I appreciate you too. Thanks for calling.
All right. Peace out.
Bye. Damn, people live lives, dude. A divorce with 3 kids. I would get a swastika tattooed on my forehead before I'd want to do that. On my whole face. I would seriously take a fucking ice pick and run it through the center of my penis before I did that. I cannot fucking think of anything I would least rather do. Oh my. I actually had a friend call me the other day, famous guy. He said, "Fuck, we're so lucky." Oh, do you want me to heat up ground beef? Oh, please. And say, God, we're so fucking lucky. And the first thing I thought, why? Because we're not divorced? I forget what he said. I think he said, no, he said something else. But he was like, yeah, that too. One of my friends who's a physician, a doctor, got a divorce a couple of years ago. And like, he's always in my ear. Don't ever do that. That's funny you asked me, Sevan, are you carnivoring? I've been raging the last month. And I've kind of gone to shit. Still working out every day, still being pretty good. Like, like at Greg's thing, I didn't eat any cake or I didn't eat the mac and cheese. But fuck, dude, I've been drinking like a fish just everywhere I go, I feel like. And so I was thinking maybe I should just I really want to do that thing Chafee did where you just have a steak every night and then and water. I'm not jacked. I'm big. I mean, I work out a lot. I'm just, you know what I mean? I'm not jacked. I'm a schlep right now. But I was actually thinking about it, but I appreciate it, Philip. Yeah, everyone there looked jacked. There's a lot of nice bodies there. A lot of like people who look like they work out. Alcohol is just super sugar. Well, great. Thanks. That's why I didn't eat the cake. No, not really bloated. I don't get bloated. I'm just, like when I drink, I just get like more stiff and probably inflammation. Just when I think of bloated, I think it was around the gut. It's just everything. You know what I mean? I mean, I feel great now. I actually normally, I fast on Sundays, but yesterday I didn't eat at all yesterday. So now I'm like approaching probably 36 hours or something. Because my wife said she was doing it today. So I was like, you know what? I need to do that. It doesn't hurt to get an extra day of not eating in. I tried NO Explode because I heard Hiller talking about it. I don't know if you guys have ever tried that shit. That shit's crazy. That shit is crazy. Matt Burns, does Greg drink a lot? No, only after 7 p.m. does he drink. Chafee had a plate of steaks every night, not just one. Oh, okay, a whole plate. Yeah, I'm down with that. I think Greg might come on the show Friday. Oh, Greg Matosian. I know, I saw that. That's weird. Dude, that Don Lemon thing is crazy. Should I play that? Philip, that Don Lemon thing you sent me is crazy. Used to take that when I was deployed. NO is intense. Brandon Lecoq. Brandon Lecoq. Yeah. You've been carnivoring and feel the best you've felt in your whole life. Yeah, it's crazy. Probably shouldn't get nutrition advice from Hiller. Are we allowed to type if Greg is on? Yeah, type away. I've been saying what for 2 years? Oh, that I'm good, that I was drinking a lot this month. Don Lemon would love Sevan's microphone. Well, this video that Philip sent is so crazy. I wonder how I get it to this computer. Let me see. You guys will trip. It's like I stole his entire shtick from him and he abandoned it. It's like it shows how fucking people can be kind of almost red pilled and then get blue pilled. I guess I knew that was possible. Wait till you see this shit. Let me see if I can find it. How do I send it to this computer? Oh, maybe I'll just go to this Instagram account. Blexit. You guys are gonna trip on this. Blexit. Oh, here it is. Okay. There you go.
really problem. Here's just 5 things that you should want to fix the problem. Here's just 5 things that you should think about doing. Here's number 5. Pull up your pants. Walking around with your and your underwear showing is not okay. In fact, it comes from prison when they take away belts from the prisoner so that they can't make a weapon. And then it evolved into which role a prisoner would have during male-on-male prison sex. The one with the really low pants is a submissive one. You get my point?
Can you guys hear this?
Number 4 now is the N-word. By promoting the use of that word when it's not germane to the conversation, have you ever considered that you may just be perpetuating the stereotype the master intended, acting like a nigger? Now, number 3, respect where you live. Start small by not dropping trash, littering in your own communities. I've lived in several predominantly white neighborhoods in my life. I rarely, if ever, witness people littering. I live in Harlem now. It's an historically black neighborhood. Every single day, I see adults and children dropping their trash on the ground when a garbage can is just feet away. Just being honest here. Number 2, finish school. You want to break the cycle of poverty? Stop telling kids are acting white because they go to school or they speak proper English. A high school dropout makes on average $19,000 a year. A high school graduate makes $28,000 a year. A college graduate makes $51,000 a year. Over the course of a career, a college grad will make nearly $1 million more than a high school graduate. That's a lot of money. And number 1, and probably the most important, just because you can have a baby, it doesn't mean you should, especially without planning for one or getting married first. More than 72% of children in the African American.
Right? Where did this Don Lemon come from? Where did he go? Hey, what's crazy is he's gone full flamboyant gay dude now. Like he's completely revamped himself. He's completely hey, there's an interview he does with Morgan Freeman where he's like, God, I'm so tired of being the black guy. I'm so tired about talking about racism and all that. And Morgan Freeman's like, then stop talking about it. And instead, in the last 2 years, he's gone full fucking retard. Is this when Don Lemon was straight? I guess. I don't know what happened to him. He's gone full victim though. He's gone full white supremacist. It's crazy. You think that's what it is, trying to stay relevant, that you just sell out that hard? I mean, that's fucking crazy. I think you have to like literally fall asleep and forget where you came from. All right. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to go eat some meat. I'm going to work out a little bit, and I think I'm going to watch the Open. It's it's Vellner against Krennikov, right? That'll be cool. Yeah, Morgan and Denzel have some great interviews. Wad Zombie, so does Lil Wayne. There's some great ones out there. Some great talks on it. Don't ever go full retard. Yeah. Oh, are you guys so listen to this. So I want to tell you a little bit about Tyson Bagent. So if you guys don't know, the reason why no one's talking about him, why some of you think you know what the fuck you're talking about, but you don't, is the NFL teams do not want to talk about him because they don't want to draw more attention to him because they don't want him to get fucking picked. They want him. And the combine's coming up very soon. And Tyson's going to be performing at the combine. And ESPN, I think there's going to be 106 guys or something at the combine. And ESPN only picks 5 guys to do features on. And they've picked Tyson. And you know why that I think they've picked Tyson? Because they know. Because they know that's not the story that they want to miss. They know. Now, no one knows for sure what round he's going to get picked in. No one knows. The draft's 3 days. And if he gets picked at all, it'll be a fucking miracle, right? No one's been picked from Division II since 1996. No one's ever been picked from his college since 1960. But maybe he will get picked in the first round, and it'll be the fucking biggest story in football for that blip, for that moment. He'll go on to be a franchise quarterback, and it'll be like, holy shit. And that's what I'm betting on. He just played the Senior Bowl, the biggest football game for all of college football. He threw 17 completions. The next best quarterback there threw 11. and he was voted by the players as the coolest player there by all the players. So I hope he goes to the Giants. Isn't that a baseball team? Oh, you changed your picture again. Is there still a New York Giants? Is it the New York Giants? San Francisco Giants. Anyway, I'm pumped. I'm pumped for him. Anyway, he's going to be doing the combine. I'll keep up to speed on how he does there. And then the draft will come. Yeah, and someone, Matt Burns is saying you can watch the combine if you have the NFL Network. Oh, New York Giants. Oh, my guy. All right. So, yeah. All right. Jets, baby. Gabe, what's up? Paper Street Coffee. What's up? All right. That being said, I will see you guys this evening. Hopefully it's a workout that we can watch Hiller do in his garage. And I will talk to you guys soon.